In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a new mini cross using the rainbow loom. So what you'll need is one loom, and you really only need one row of pins from that loom, and you want the arrows to be facing away from you, and then you will need 18 bands for the cross itself, and I've chosen white. So for all of these bands, they are going to be doubled. So in order to do that, you're going to place it on your hook, twist, put it back on your hook so that now it is doubled, and this is going to start on the end, and just move to that next pin up and push it down. And now I'm just going to work my way up. I'm going to do this 8 times. Just going to that next pin. And if you want, you can just do this on your fingers. You would just take the band and your fingers, twist it, put it on your finger, and put the other side on your finger as well, and then just stretch it out. But I prefer to use my hook when I'm stretching the bands in between pins, so I'm going to be showing it that way. And they are going to be tighter because they're doubled, so it's going to be a tighter stretch. And also, as you're putting these bands on, you want to make sure that you're pushing the bands down to the bottom of the pin, because we are going to be adding more on top. And now we've gone the length of 8 bands down the loom, and so we're just going to leave this on for now. As I said, you want to make sure that all of this is pushed down, so you could just take an extra couple seconds and make sure that this is all the way to the bottom. And now we're going to go to the 4th pin in from the end of the loom, and this is where we're going to start placing more bands. So we want to place 3 bands down the length of the loom, starting on that 4th pin in, and again these are going to be doubled as well, and they're just going to be going to that very next pin down. They're just going to sit right on top of what we already have done. So this is the second one, to make sure both bands get on. And now one more here. And now turn your loom around so that the arrows are now facing towards you, and you can see from the side view that we have these 3 bands that we just put on. And so where you ended that last band that's closest to you, we're going to put a cap band on here, and it's going to be wrapped around 4 times. I'm going to place this band on my hook. I'm going to twist and put it back on so that it's doubled. Twist, put it back on again so that it's tripled, and twist, put it back on again, so now it's wrapped around 4 times. And I want this to go on the pin here where I showed you, where we ended that last band that's on the top. Place it right on the top there. And now we want to go through this quadrupled band. That's going to put our hook through there. Push back on all of those top 4 bands. We're grabbing those next 2 bands. We're not doing anything to the bottom. You're going to have to hold this cap band in place, and you want to pull these 2 bands out and move them forward. And now we're going to grab the next 2 bands. Again, it's the top 2 bands. We're not doing anything with those bottom bands yet. It's moving forward. And now we have one more time. You're reaching in through and pulling those 2 bands ahead. And now what we want to do is we want to take these bands off of this pin just at the top, but we're going to leave it on this very last one. That's going to be the center of our cross. So I'm going to put my thumb over top of this pin because I don't want this to accidentally come off. And now I can reach my hook in through this cap band and I'm just going to carefully pull these off. And again, like I said, I'm holding my thumb there. So now I'm going to twist this out to the side. This is going to be the one arm of the cross. And again, you can push that down. Now we're going to turn the loom around again so that the arrows are facing away from us once again. And I'm going to repeat that same pattern. So once again, starting on this same pin where you have this one piece of the cross, we're going to put 3 more bands working their way up the loom. They're all going to be doubled. So you're just putting it right on top. It is getting full on that pin. And we're just going to put one right after the other. And we're just doing 3. And now we're going to put a quadrupled band, a cap band, where we just ended. So again, you're twisting it and it's going on 2, 3, and then 4. You can see all 4 bands on here. And it's going to be tight to get on there, but you want it to go right on the top of this pin. And then again, we're going to turn the loom around. Arrows facing towards you. We're starting where this cap band is. Again, we're doing that same thing. You're going down through the middle, pushing back on those top 4 bands. You want to grab those next 2 bands in line. Again, we're leaving all this bottom alone. And you are going to hold that cap band in place and move that band forward. Again, you're going to just keep going up, only just grabbing those top 2 bands. And then when you get here, we're going to do that same thing. I'm going to hold this, put my thumb here, put my hook inside the cap band, and then, oops, I didn't get them all there. Carefully pull them off. And now I'm going to twist this out to form the other arm of the cross. And now I'm going to go down here. I'm still having the arrows facing towards me. I'm going to start on the end where the last band is. Again, I'm going to make a cap band that I am going to quadruple. I'm going to put it right on top of this pin. And it is a little bit tough to get on because it's so tight. And now what we're going to do is just work our way up to the top. You're pushing back on these top 4 bands, grabbing the bottom 2, hold this cap band in place, and now I'm just going to work my way up all the way to the top. And when you get to this one where the other bands are, it's going to be very full. So you can see how full that is. You're reaching down through all of these bands, and you're only worried about the bottom 2. You're pushing back on all of these upper bands. You want to grab those bottom 2 and carefully move them out and forward. It's going to be tight since there's so many bands on, so you just have to be very careful as you're doing it. And if you feel like it's a little bit hung up, you can just trace around this pin to try and get it loose. And now we're continuing up to the very end here. And now what you want to do is take your hook and reach down inside, grab this last band, pull it up through, and put it back on your hook. And now you want to hold these in place and just carefully remove this from the loom. When you get to this pin, it's going to be very tight because you have all of these bands on here. And now you want to take the band that's closest to the end of your hook and pull it through the other band and pull to make a slip knot. So you'll have this loop at the end, and then here is your cross. And you can play around with it for a minute and just try and get it to look as nice as possible. You want the arms to look like they're going straight out, and the bottom, you want it to be as flat as possible. And then there is your cross. And I'll show you a few other ones that I made also. Here's one that I made using gold bands. And then here's another one that I made using lavender color bands. So it's great for Easter or any other religious holiday, or really just for any time of the year. You can always leave me comments on YouTube or Facebook, or send me pictures of your creations on my Facebook page. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on my latest videos. You can also find me on Pinterest and Instagram. Thanks for watching.